Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. And we're starting with some not so great news regarding the official announcement of a PS5 price increase in certain regions. Now, the only silver lining with this announcement, I would say, is that on top of that, Sony has announced a price decrease for PS5 disc drives, but still, I don't think that's going to be enough to kind of offset the disappointment or just frustration or even confusion from some people when it comes to this newly announced price increase. So they revealed this over on the PlayStation blog. They say here, with a backdrop of a challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates, SIE has made the tough decision to raise the recommended retail price of the PlayStation 5 console in select markets in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. And it's important to note that the price increases in these regions starts today, April 14th. So starting with Europe, it's only the PS5 digital edition that's going up in price. It's going to be 500 euros, which now matches the price for the disc model. The disc model is not going up. Same thing with the UK. The PS5 digital edition is now £430, and the disc drive model is not going up in price. When it comes to both Australia and New Zealand, both the disc drive model as well as the digital edition model are going up in price. And so you can see it on screen here. And so when it comes at least to Europe and the UK, I don't think it's nearly as bad, but you know, at this point in time, you really would have to question why anybody would go out of their way to buy the digital version of the PS5 when it's going to be the same price as the disc-based model. But obviously, when it comes to Australia and New Zealand, it's not looking too good. I think people are, certainly not happy about both models going up in price. They do make it known here that the PS5 Pro is not going up in price. It's staying at the price point that it's already at. But they do say here, additionally, the disc drive for PS5 will be getting a price decrease today as well. And so you can see the decrease in price across the different regions here. And that is good, right? But again, I don't think it's enough to necessarily offset what's going on here. And so the big thing I've been seeing from people is just the confusion, right? Like, wait, aren't prices of consoles supposed to go down as the generation goes on? And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the way it has always worked. But, when we look at this generation, most things that have happened this generation are frankly unprecedented, right? This is a very different generation, and that continues to be true as we go deeper into the generation. And I've seen a lot of people basically saying that they're very disappointed with this generation. And, it is what it is, man. There's just no way around it. Price increases suck. We just saw Sony increase the price of PlayStation Plus in different regions. And I think another thing that's worth highlighting here is the level of concern that people now have for the next generation with the PlayStation 6. If we're, entering the 5th year of this console being on the market and we're seeing prices go up, what does that mean for the PlayStation 6? What's the pricing going to look like then? And so there's a lot of uncertainty right now, frustration and confusion. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on that. I want to follow this up though with a interesting report regarding tariffs because, people are wondering how this may or may not affect the console business. Well, apparently PCs and smartphones may be exempt from Trump's tariffs, but consoles may not be. This is being reported by Push Square. And they did post an update to this where it was actually at 7:15 a.m. They say a small update almost as soon as we posted this story. U.S. President Donald Trump has implied there will be no exemptions on tariffs for electronics. He, of course, said the reports are false and that they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. We are taking a look at semiconductors and the whole electronics supply chain in the upcoming national security tariff investigations, he said. So it seems like PCs and smartphones may be back in the bucket with game consoles, but it's almost impossible to say what's really going on here. And so they do let us know they will update us when they find out. And so Yeah, I mean, this is all over the place, man. I don't think anybody knows how this is going to end. It seems like it really is just truly that unpredictable because it's just all over the place. So I will try my best to keep you guys updated, but there's no denying that if what we are seeing laid out right now does end up, staying the course and going into effect, at least in the US, and I assume it will have some kind of ripple effect to, for many other regions, but at least in the US, yeah, we're going to see the price of consoles go up by a significant margin. And that's going to be, I mean, to be honest, that has the potential to be truly cataclysmic for the console market. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not trying to be one of these like doomers, but the reality is, we're already seeing people expressing frustration at the fact that the price has not gone down, and we're seeing the price go up in other regions. But if it gets to a point where it's like Sony has no choice but to raise the price of the base PS5 to like $600 or something, or even more than that, $700, whatever it may be, I mean, what do we think is going to happen at that point? It's not going to be good. So yeah, very uncertain times right now, but we'll just continue to flow along with it because that's really all we can do. But moving on to some more positive news here, we have some, I would say, good updates regarding the PS5 Pro, where we're talking about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and how it's going to use the full power of the PS5 Pro, where they're announcing that it's going to offer a native 4K resolution with ray tracing, and I believe that is going to be at 60 FPS. This is a PlayStation blog that they put out where they were highlighting all of the enhancements that you can expect for this game, not only on the PS5 Pro, but taking advantage of the DualSense and just making it clear that they have went out of their way to fully optimize this title for the PS5 as well as the PS5 Pro, which I think is great news. That's what we want to see for these games, them fully supporting the console and the developers taking their time to properly optimize for these consoles. But continuing to talk about the PS5 Pro, we have a report here from Push Square where it says a new version of Assassin's Creed Shadows is available to download now, which makes huge improvements to the excellent open world when played on a PS5 Pro. As part of an enormous and thoroughly informative PlayStation blog post, Ubisoft's technology director said that he believes the game on Sony's PS5 Pro system is now the ultimate console experience and one that, quote, rivals ultra high-end PC gaming, end quote. Considering an ultra high-end PC could cost you many thousands of dollars, it really helps put the PS5 Pro's price tag into perspective. So what's improved? Well, in addition to adding ray trace reflection to the game's 40 FPS balanced mode, it also incorporates PSSR across the board. And so this is something that we did cover, how Assassin's Creed Shadows is easily one of the best looking games on the PS5 Pro just in general before it got PSSR support. Now it looks just that much better with PSSR support. But yeah, that's quite the quote, I would say, to get from Ubisoft's technology director, saying that what we're seeing here on PS5 Pro rivals ultra high-end gaming on or PC gaming rigs. And that's his words, not mine, right? So whether you want to chalk that up to just marketing fluff or whatever, or PR fluff or not, that's up to you. But based off of what I've seen in terms of the results of this game running on the PS5 Pro, I mean, yeah, it's looking really, really good. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which briefly talks about Marathon. Being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, it says last weekend's Marathon PS5 reveal and release date event took a strange turn as much of the discourse began revolving around the game's potential price. The conversation started following the publication of an article that claimed that Marathon will be a full-priced game, forcing Bungie to issue a clarification. In a brief statement, Bungie said that Marathon will be a premium product, but it won't be a full-priced one. In other words, do not expect Marathon to be a free-to-play game, but it also will not carry a $70 price tag either. Although some breathed a sigh of relief, others seemed surprised. Many expected Marathon to be free-to-play like Destiny 2. It didn't help that Bungie wasn't ready to talk about the game's price, but did reveal that it will launch with 3 maps and a battle pass. So yeah, I mean, we covered the Marathon reveal quite extensively, although I haven't really talked about it in a news video, and I think this is the most relevant thing here, where it did seem for a moment there that this game was going to be priced at $70, and I think it's good that Bungie clarified it will not. It seems to me that it's going to be a $40 title. I mean, that is pretty much the price point that Sony seems to have settled on when it comes to their live service games. But the fact that so many people just automatically expected this game to be free to play, I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough sell, man. I think an extraction shooter is already a tough sell for a lot of people. I think, you know, a lot of Destiny players are not necessarily going to come over to this game. And so I think that Bungie has an uphill battle here. And yeah, you know, going out of your way to announce that your game's going to have a battle pass and obviously microtransactions and stuff like that, while simultaneously letting people know it's not free to play. I don't know, man. I think that there's a lot working against Marathon, but we'll have to see how it plays out. The final topic of the video here is just a couple updates on Death Stranding 2. Number one, Hideo Kojima has confirmed that development is 95% complete, which isn't surprising considering when this game's supposed to launch. So I imagine in the coming weeks, we're going to hear that this game has gone gold. The second thing we're learning about Death Stranding 2 on the beach is actually very interesting, and it has to do with being able to skip difficult boss battles in this game. And so this is being reported by Genki Japan, who I believe provided the translation here. And he says, Hideo Kojima says Death Stranding 2 will have a new special feature to help players who are not so experienced at action games clear boss fights. For boss battles in Death Stranding 2, presumably in easy mode, there will be an extra option on the game over screen below the continue option. This option will let you clear the boss battle and show you image and text descriptions of the battle like a novel, instead to clear the boss battle more easily. So this is actually extremely unique where, you know, there's always the question of accessibility and whether or not you should provide an easy mode. This seems to be taking it a step further where Kojima is just basically straight up like, look, if you really feel like you can't do this boss battle or you just don't want to for whatever reason, you can skip it and it'll just turn into a visual novel. That's really interesting. I can't think of another game that has done something like this. Maybe there is. You can let me know. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what you guys think of this. I don't think that that's something I would personally use. I mean, one thing I will mention is when Kojima talked about Death Stranding 2 not that long ago, he was saying he apologizes in advance for like the final boss battle. And I don't know if he meant that as like he's apologizing for how silly and like crazy and over the top it's going to be. He very well could have meant that. But he also could have meant it, like difficulty, like he's apologizing for how difficult it's going to be. So I couldn't quite tell what he meant. And I will say, you know, the fact that he's adding this option to kind of do this, maybe the boss battles in this game are going to be crushingly difficult. It's going to be very interesting to see. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.